Hello, Serge here from the backyard driving range. Today, we don't have a question. What we have is Serge talking about a golf lesson he gave at a very unusual place. And I'll start off with the story. Whenever I'm usually home, I like to go to my chiropractor, Dr. Chris, and get an adjustment. And so I called him up recently, and I went in and I went in kind of early in the morning. I like to get in early because I got a lot of things to do every day. And I got in and I saw him, and the place was quiet. After he did me, there was nobody in the office at the moment. And there was one person left. And so he said to me when I was done, he said, I asked him, he had just recently played in a big tournament. He qualified for the Carolinas Amateur. And I asked him how he did, and he kind of, his head went down a little bit and said, oh man, I was playing good till I got there, and when I got there, it's just like all went away. And he said, so when he got done with me, and he still had that one patient left, he said, could you hang around a minute? I want to ask you something. I said, okay, and we've done that a little bit in the past. So when he got done with that other patient, he said to me, I was sitting out there in the lobby, and he goes like this, come on. So he starts walking me back. I know his office is in the back, but his office is to the left, and we turned to the right down the corridor, and we ended up going through I guess you could call it the kitchen area, and then out the door. So he takes me out the door. We walk down the back porch. He goes over to his car. He's got his truck there at the time. He lifts the cover off the back of the truck, slides his clubs out, and pulls the club out. And he comes over here and he says, I was pulling the ball. He said, right from the very first shot on the range, I'm pulling it 30 yards left. And then if I get any draw, it starts 30 and it's going more. He said, you can't play from over there. I said, yeah, that's not good. And he said, the next thing I know, he says, I'm playing out to the right for the pull. I said, well, that's certainly not going to get rid of it, because if you don't want it, if you play for it, you got to have it. So the key, you'd have been better off trying to aim more left, make like you're faded if you're trying to get some solace from it from not having a pull. But anyways, so he says, well, talk to me about alignment. So the first thing he does, he stands up there, and I said, okay, pick a spot out there somewhere. We're standing near the back of the building. He said, all right, I'm going to aim at that gutter pipe over there. And he starts aiming up, and I could see standing there, the club's like this, it's shut. So I said, okay, get ready in your setup, hold it. So I come back over here, and I stand to the side of him, and I lift his club up like that, and I say, what do you see there? Dead shut. And I said, what else do I see, Doc? I said, I see offset golf clubs. I said, you're a scratch golfer. Doc goes between scratch to 3 on average. He's a little guy. He's probably little in stature. He's not very broad in his body. He's probably about 5'7" or 8, pretty close to my height. But he's very thin. He's probably got about a 31-inch waist. But he is strong as can be. I mean, he can flat kill it. When I play golf with him, he smokes me by 20, 30, and 40 yards sometimes. And he told me, he also told me that his club the other day, which I've played there a number of times with him, the 18th hole is a par 5. It's about 540 yards straight uphill, 540, 550 straight uphill from the back tees, from all the tees, but straight uphill. He always plays the back tees. He knocked it on with a driver 2-iron. How about that? He's got a 2-iron in his bag. He still carries a 2 and a 3-iron, and he could smoke them up in the air. So, I mean, he can hit it like crazy. But I said, Doc, you don't need one off the run. First off, you got the leading edge shut. Never mind the fact it's double shut because you got an offset golf club. What's the concept of an offset club? It's allowed a club face a fraction more time to square up for people who are a little slow swinging the club to square up so they don't slice. That's the last thing you need. All right? So, I said, that's ridiculous. So, I mean, first off, we need to get you out of those clubs and get you into a blade. But irrelevant of that, you still got to learn that now to get that club face square. So we worked on that very diligently. And the key becomes that alignment is absolutely a killer because his swing is good. He tends to get a little bit long now and then, and I got to bring him back to 3/4, and he tends to get a little bit too much turn because, like I said, he's very slim stature. He's very supple and flexible and strong. He starts getting it deep, then he can start winging it out to the right. So the key is that with these issues, especially the club face shut, he's doomed right from the get-go. He can make the perfect swing, and even if he's dead straight at the target, he can make the perfect swing, and the ball's going to start left, and then if he's released toe up into the mid, it's going to very likely turn left. he's double whammied by also aiming right. And I've been thinking about that a lot, and I've been practicing diligently lately. Possibly, I'm going to have a tournament. I'm going to play in the first time in a couple of years in a big tournament, Carolina Senior PGA Championship. And I'm struggling with a closed club face, and I've been thinking about this a lot. And I think that if one tends to stand here and aim the club face at the target, if one is aiming right, there's a good chance, even when you walked in where your starting position is, you're probably a little right. And so if you're probably a little right, what's the first thing you're going to do when you start running your club face to the target? You're going to turn it inward a little bit. And so therefore, when you finally got it straight and you set up, your club face is going to look straight to your body, but it's going to look perpendicular to your toe line, and it's going to look straight to the target line, parallel to, aim perpendicular to the target line. But the point is that when you finally return that back, it's actually really shut. And again, if you stood here and even though it looks straight to the target line, you lift it up like this, and it's shut. I think that's a good clue that if you're tending to walk in with the club face shut, it's because your propensity is to be aiming to the right for righty, left for a lefty. Whereas if you were walking in too far to the left, and you put the club face at the target and you set up like this, it might look square to the target. But again, if you stand here from this position, and you stand here and it's square to the target, but you lift it up and now the face is open, laying that way, I think that's a good clue that you're tending to aim right. And if your vision is good and you can line your face up to your target, that's a clue that you're left. So I think that possibly a good checkpoint would be when you're ready to hit the ball and you think your body is lined up correctly, parallel left, and you pick your club up and it's shut, square the club up, come down like that. Now you're going to see the club pointing to the right of the target, and just turn yourself until the club face looks now square to the target, and I think you're going to find you're in a lot better position. So again, Doc could have been making the best swings in the world. He could have. But the club face is going to, remember, the club face in the end has the biggest influence on where the ball starts and where it goes. Consecutive with how you're swinging the club through. But a perfect peak performance swing of returning the palms perpendicular to the ground, right there, if the face is shut, that ball's aimed left of the target, the ball's going to start left, and if you release toe up into the mitt, it's smothering the ball a little bit more, covering the ball more, it's going to start left due to its face angle to the left, but it's also going to pick up more draw. So maybe one of the best things we need to start doing now is after you think everything's good, just pick your club face back up like this and check it out. And if it's shut, square it up to the ground, which means leading edge or the scoring line square to the ground, and then come back down. And when you look at the target, you should see, whoa, this is way to the right of the target. So then you can start just walking in here till it's square, and then get yourself ready. And I think you'll find that to square your club face up, if it was from where your feet were with a closed club this way, to put it square and come down, you're always going to have to move back to the left for a lefty, right for a righty, which means you're going to be getting yourself parallel of your aiming line. So instead of maybe what we got to add into this, as I said, pick your club up and check your club face and see whether it's square to the ground, which would have it straight, leading edge straight to the ground. If it's shut, then that's going to be a hint you're aiming right. Turn, square the club face up, bring it back down, and then readjust off the what you now know is a square face. Okay, and vice versa if you're aiming to the left. All right, alignment's so critical, folks. You can be making the best swings in the world, but if you're aimed in the wrong place, the ball is not going to go on a relatively straight line to your target. It'll only have to get there with a curve, and you're very susceptible to what? Over pulling it, over blocking it, or whatever. On, straight and solid means we should be lined up parallel left with a square club face at address, which will return square at impact. Okay? That's the secret to hitting the ball more than anything, and we know the eyes can play tricks on us. As I've said 1,000 times, it's a never-ending battle to line up correctly. I teach this every day. I work on it more diligently than anybody else. I check my when I've hit a poor shot or a good shot to the wrong place, I come back and put my club back down on the ground, come back and check it more than anybody else, and I still line up right if I make a mistake more than anything, aiming to the right. And the key is that I work on it that hard, and it still keeps tricking me. So if you're not working on it hard enough, you know you're getting tricked. All right, and it's a trick that all we can do is keep trying to outwit the fox here and line up correctly. So take this new tip about once you set up and you think and everything is good and you think you're parallel left, check your club face, and if it isn't square to the ground, shutter open, I think that's a clue that you're right or left. Okay? And then make that adjustment with the face come down. I guarantee you'll have to adjust your body to match your face again, and then you'll find that you'll be, check it again if you want, your body, and you're going to be in much better alignment. And that's the key. I think we need to maybe start this double club face check to make sure that we can improve our odds of lining up correctly so we can hit the ball more solid and straight at our targets. That's it for the Surge, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.